What's up, y'all? We're just here loading the ball real quick for UCC Part 2 with Gabe.
Hey.
Earlier we went down Gabe's past, and today we're just continuing on with that. Got Sep back in the room.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Sep.
Welcome back.
New father, newest father.
Yes, sir. Come on now. Newest father, dad life.
How's that been going for you, bro?
Been crazy. Blessed. Excited.
Tired.
Great. Cold. It's November here in Utah. But yeah, grateful, man. Grateful to be back and be with the boys, man.
Well, congratulations on that, dude.
Gang, appreciate
Big
y'all.
ups.
Big
Can't wait to
congrats.
see how the fatherhood journey comes, and like to be one of your boys and to be able to support you
with the
in your
boys.
fatherhood. You know what I mean?
Shake him in his car seat.
It's an honor to be a part of this journey with you. You know what I mean?
Amen. Hell yeah.
Couldn't be more
Likewise.
grateful.
Let's go, man. Little man's kicking, eating. So excited to have him on the show. I mean, yeah.
Next guest.
No, next guest.
Yeah.
Dog.
Next guest. You know what it is.
Dang, man. Excited to be here, man. Interviewing Gabe. Getting it on today, man. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Full
cheers
crew.
to the second UCC baby.
UCC, baby.
That's true. That is true.
IDs.
But yeah, Gabe, last time you went off, I think we ended on some numbers, and you, back in your childhood days, Wes wanted you to go more in depth on you pushing the stuff, man, on you getting around and getting your
Yes.
finances
Yeah, dude.
in line. You know, you said
So-
you had some trucks and stuff, and you were balling, but how did you get
So-
to that point?
That's the thing, dude. Like, when you're trapping, you're balling on a budget, right?
Right.
You make decent money, and like, yeah, the pickups were a lot, but that money never really recycles back to you in the way that you think it does once you push your packs out to where they need to go. And especially where like I had a big homie that was taking care of me, and like a lot of the financial stuff that I started up on was because of my big homie putting me on game, you know what I mean? And
Right.
allowing me to step into places with him and take care of business. So a lot of the money that I made, I just spent it super irrationally, right? Like, I did have a bunch of cars and shit in high school, but it was like I bought a fucking car and I could barely put gas in it to go places. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
It's just a list of priorities.
Yeah,
your
dude.
priorities,
So
like,
just
rather have
dumb.
the bag.
Just I was just about like mobbing around. Being in Idaho in particular, like it doesn't seem like there's very much going on, but like the second that you get into a truck and you decide to go adventure, you know, there's so much to do. There's so much going on, and there's
a lot
some
to get
really,
in trouble with, too.
Yeah, there is, and like there's some
Close.
really dope like podunk hippie cats out there too. Like, people don't anticipate Idaho having any hippies. Go near some of those creek beds up like West Yellowstone near Ashton. Like, Henry's Fork is a really beautiful spot. The Dead Shed's out there. Like,
Bunch of hippies.
There's a good community out there. You know what I mean? There's a really solid community out there. Shout out to all the commune out there.
All them hippies. Let's go.
Yeah, hell
The
yeah,
Ida
yeah.
hippies.
Yeah, taking care of business, just being mindful of their space and being mindful of their environment. You know, it's really good people out there. But the money really, like, only had glimpses of, like, we just did baller shit and that was it for, like, a couple months. You know what I mean? So it was like we stacked our cash, but we fucking spent our cash just as quick as we made it. So we didn't really make too big of waves, which is fortunate. Like, you know, we never had too many incidences like getting in trouble or anything like that. But this is all an amazing time in the world, in my opinion. Like, we have accessibility to so many different styles of souls that you can connect to so many different attributes that person has. Like, the style of people that are in Idaho, you think that they're cookie cutter, and you just gotta look a little bit deeper.
For sure. I feel like that's with every community or every state that seems like smaller, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You just gotta know where to tap in, dude.
You know?
That's true.
You can't be drilling for oil in fucking Florida.
Exactly. Your community's out there. You gotta go dig a little deep and find them.
Yeah.
And so, maybe when you're pushing all this stuff and all this weight, is there a time that hits you maybe that you're like, damn, like we're in it, like heavy? Like, was there like a moment, like a flip of like, yeah, like we were doing a couple pounds to like 20s, 30s, 50s, hundreds? Like when was like a big moment for you, kind of in that
Go
sense?
ahead, hit that shit.
I would say,
UCC, what it is?
I'd say a big moment for me was like when we started picking up like packs of concentrates, you know what I mean? When we were picking up like 30, 40 pounds of concentrates and like getting all the different viscosities and getting like rosins, rosins, shatters, like seeing even different styles of extraction methods from like BHO to like an ethanol or like a hydrocarbon, you know, and like seeing what those characteristics express as on the same strain, even like having people that have the same genetic ran the same plant and being able to see it in different manufacturing formats. Essentially, it's really cool to start seeing like key characteristics that that particular strain would have with different extraction formats. It's really cool.
No, 100%. It's crazy too that you talk about concentrates and it's already like 20 pounds, 40 pounds.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
It's crazy to understand that. I mean, most people probably haven't even seen one, like held 1 pound.
Yeah.
In a sense of hash, right? Like that's like people buy a gram, right? Like 28 of those little pucks, like crazy.
Yeah.
And then you gotta like 40 pounds, so times that by 40, like wild.
Yeah, dude.
Wild quantities and stuff. Was there? So what stood out to you?
The one sad part was we never saw any like 5-star, 6-star bubble hash. That's one thing that we never really got our hands on. Like the main thing that we were seeing was like, and like I'm younger, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like I've been a part of the culture in a different wave where it hasn't been just shatter. You know, we've had a second to accumulate different curing processes even, and like seeing the way that the game has really changed for concentrates in the last like 15 years, you know, is nuts. It's really beautiful, and to think about it of where it's going now, like with Piatella and like static dry sift hash being like top tier now instead of a bubble hash, you know, like dry sift interestingly has had some of the like most controversial people come and say, oh, it's dry sift, it's not as good. But if you look at it and like you smoke it, some of the best smoke has been out of dry sift.
Yeah.
You know, static, good old static tech.
The static tech.
Yeah, good old static tech, dude.
Dang, that's crazy. So, static tech, what is that?
Static tech.
Hit us with what it is.
Dude, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it, but it's essentially a refinement process. So let's say that you get a bunch of keef that you don't know what to do with. You can like spread it all out on parchment paper and like fucking get 2 CDs, rub those bitches together, get some frequencies going, and then just run the CD over the top of it, and it'll start to collect the stalk of the trichrome instead of the actual head. It's really unique, but it's just like static electricity essentially. That's like a super OG. There's of course better ways to do it.
Yeah, like
but
CD, like circle CD.
Yeah,
like DVD, yes.
Circle CD. I was like, cannabis arrived. I was like, okay, something like that.
Yeah, no, for real. You
only know the
that.
CDs, okay.
Yes.
But that's what you would do, and then you would like that's essentially what it is. But they of course have better techniques for it now. But to do it at home at scale, if you would like, that's how you can do it.
So if you're somebody that has a grinder that's big, and you have a fat bowl of keef, try it out. Refine it.
Yeah.
Refine it
Throw
a little
that
bit.
shit on some parchment paper.
Throw out the
rub
bad
some
stuff.
CDs.
Get yourself the good keef in there.
Yeah.
And then smoke it and see what's up.
Yeah. Like highly recommended, but it's heady bat shit that you do for personal stuff. You know what I mean? I never got rid of anything that I would spend time, doing the static tech too. But
Yes, true. So you pushing all the concentrates and stuff, what was like kind of sought after? Was there like
honestly, people loved crumble.
crumble?
Just because of how easily malleable it is. People love to be able to work with it. It's fun to play with. Like, it's almost like a sand style consistency, especially when you get like an ounce of it and you just have a jar that you can just fucking turn. It looks dope, and I don't know. I feel like most people would liked crumble just because of how easy it was to work with, and like. We had shatter, and like our shatters would come in like individual packs, so like it'd just be grams, that we would buy. We'd buy a bunch
That's
of those.
sweet, dude.
Yeah, dude. So people love those too. We would take care of people with those. Like shatter was always bottom of the barrel stuff, so we were selling it like $10-15 a gram. People would just scoop up monster amounts, dude.
Yeah.
And like we were picking it up for like $3-4 a gram. So we were still doubling, almost tripling our money.
Yeah.
And easy.
Yeah.
Everybody munched it up.
Already tripling your money, and you're hooking the homie up. Don't forget that. That's
what
it's about.
Yeah, like
That's
I
what
could
it's
have
about.
been
It's being able
charging
to help
30,
somebody,
35 for
For a
sure.
gram.
But there's methods to keeping people faithful and truthful to you, and there's a reason I didn't get in trouble. You know what I mean? It's because I took care of people, and there's a way to function in the cannabis world, and it's through love. That's one thing about the industry.
Say that one more time.
There's one thing to function through the cannabis industry, and it's through love, dude.
There you go, you guys.
Community is everything in cannabis.
Passion for the plant.
The way.
Love and passion for the plant.
Yeah, so we all come here, and like you can be walking down an alley, you smell somebody smoking a joint, you'd be like, hey, you'd be like, it's my dog, it's all love. Like,
hey, that shit smells good, bro.
Yeah. But like flip the coin, and you can hear a mother telling you a testimonial of how she's been able to implement it and have true hallmarks essentially of her physical and mental and spiritual essence. Like, she's been able to hit new boundaries within her personal life, and like I say mother because I'm talking to my own. That's why I say mother. My mom has been able to make some of the most astounding breakthroughs through the implementation of cannabis, and my mom used to be a police officer, and she has had a really interesting foresight for cannabis, and through me educating myself and educating her, she's been able to really start getting ingrained into the culture and understanding what it's about. And like me watching my mom be able to start stripping away medication and start implementing just like one hit in the morning and take away. So my mom was on a 15 pill regimen.
Damn.
Like she was taking 15 different medications to take care of her problems, and my mom had a lot of different ones that were just corresponding to the other medication, right?
Not even your mom.
This one pulls
prescribing that.
Yeah, and she has had a really hard medical journey, and like through the implementation of cannabis, she's been able to remove 8, and she's down to 8 pills now.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and like this is what cannabis is for. It's for the alternative methods and taking care of yourself for yourself, and like looking
in a
at
much
all
healthier
of
way.
Looking at all of the concepts of medication and how they actually infiltrate and mess with your body
like
on
the
a
side
hormonal
effects and everything.
level. Like if you look at like how medicine corresponds to us, it's never in a good way. There's always a huge list that follows that you have to be worried about X, and you might die. You know what I mean? You've heard the commercials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But cannabis, like, yes, there are stipulations to using cannabis that you need to be mindful of. If you have, like, of course, schizophrenia in your family bloodline, you should be mindful of using cannabis and consult your doctor before implementing it.
Or taking some mushrooms.
You know, or like you have to be mindful. But these are true things. But like nothing that cannabis holds is something that you wouldn't be able to. I don't know how to illustrate this right now, but cannabis is something that you can always implement through mindfulness. It's even in a minute dose. So you can take 2.5 milligrams to stimulate your ECS system and still get some of those corresponding phytocannabinoids to start connecting with your endocannabinoids and start creating homeostasis.
Yeah, it's still beneficial, even the small ass dose.
Yeah, and start helping homeostasis inside of your body. Like when the CB2 responds or the CB1 responds and GABA and L-theanine are produced in your body.
Right.
Homeostasis is easier to obtain. And when you're out of homeostasis, that can be from a simple, like, cold. You know what I mean? It can be implemented in so many different ways.
So there you go. If you're curious, start low. Start low, go slow.
Go slow.
You know?
Yep.
You hear it and you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason,
Anything,
you know?
Yeah.
Because there is benefits when you do seek it out.
For sure. And it's through education. This is a real substance that everybody should be very mindful of in the consumption of cannabis. You know, and there's so many beautiful attributes to it when you are mindful of the consumption.
Right. And it's like crazy because I was listening to an episode yesterday about how cannabis for a lot of people is one of the only things that people aren't conscious about as much when it comes to smoking. Like, you go into the store and you'll buy something there, but you'll go and smoke like whatever, you know, back in the day. You know what I mean? So they were talking about how, like, we have to continuously, as like patients, try to seek that knowledge, you know, try to understand what we're smoking, try to understand, because then you run into people where they're like, yo, I hit it and I fucking had the worst anxiety. Well, it's like, well, how much did you smoke? I don't know. And I'm like, well, there you go. You know what I mean?
I took this really big dab of coughing.
I took an edible,
like,
and I couldn't even think for hours. I knocked out for 8 hours, and you're like, well, there you go, right? If you knew, you know what I mean, what you knew, or educating yourself a little bit on dosage, right? It's just being as conscious as if you were someone handing you some alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to be like, just freaking gulp. You'll be like, you know, there's ease and flow into it, like the guy said, go low and slow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's in minute doses, right? So, yeah, if you've been down that road where you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna turn back that way. Maybe it's because you've been down that road where it was too much at one time, and you're scared to go back. But there is options. There is research to show that it does work in small. So, don't be afraid to retry it again if you're out there and you're trying to find alternative, like Gabe's talking about.
Definitely.
And it's crazy too, because not only is it one of the fastest growing medicines now, right, with like the wave of legalization, but it's one of the only medicines that people are advocating and telling others to seek out knowledge, right? Like, you don't really hear people like, what is ibuprofen, right? What is penicillin?
Right.
What does that do to you? Like, there's not people trying to dive deeper and give out that knowledge in a sense.
Yeah.
Whereas like cannabis, like it is, and in a lot of places you can even grow it yourself.
Right.
Like, you're talking about growing and understanding your own medicine. Like, that's a better relationship.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of that, it's going to help an insane amount of people.
And like,
it's different.
and to take it a step further, to connect to a plant, to connect to Mother Nature every day, you know, and have that be something that can ground you out from the fucking chaos of this world. We live in the city. We live in a concrete world, and we do not touch plants nearly enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know that I feel better when I'm touching a plant.
For sure.
I can say 1,000% I feel better when I'm touching a plant.
Can I ask you a question real quick? When you go to like a grow or anything, can you feel like you feel the plants?
Oh,
like,
dude. You should see us when we're in those rooms, bud. We're like,
I did.
yeah.
You guys sent me pictures.
It was crazy. We'd be running around there like kids.
Yeah, we tap into a kid-like state, and we're jumping around. Dude, come check this out. And like we're embodying what cannabis should be, and that's fun.
Yeah.
And it's love. It's fun. And we're there to enjoy it. It's work, but that's life. You know, like. Life is work. Work that's worth putting in will always get you something.
If you love it, if you love what you do, man, I mean, it's not work, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd say with cannabis and everything like that, it also helps like ground you. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, it helps you touch a plant, kind of get that human nature aspect back.
And that, yeah, right. There's like that symbiotic relationship with you, and right, it takes care of you. You take care of it. When you notice it's in your home, right? It feeds you oxygen, right? It's people, I've heard, one of the craziest quotes I've ever heard was that like rainforests are like the world's lungs, are like Earth's lungs.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like the world, you know, like rainforests from South
So much
America
oxygen,
down to
bro.
Africa, down to China. You know what I'm saying? Like these
They're
rainforests that are ecosystems of hundreds of football fields of, right, of oxygen, right? Like these plants, right? Like that we're talking about. Like, can you imagine the other cannabis plants that might be in those rainforests? That'd be crazy.
Boy, what?
Bro, we going to Jupiter tonight.
Wild.
Well, that's crazy though.
Do you think that there are indigenous cannabis strains in the Amazon?
Oh, 100%. Especially, I was showing you guys the other day,
you know,
they found a new strain of CBD in Brazil
Yeah, there's over hundreds
That
of
contains CBD.
that contains CBD with
Yep,
similar
there's a lot.
plant-like structures. Sure. So
hundreds of plants and animals they've yet to still discover, and insects
It'd
that
be
are still in the
interesting to
rainforest.
see
It's
what's
crazy.
out
It's
there.
that big.
to bring it to you, when we talk
so
about
dense,
landrace
too.
genetics and everything, tell us your landrace genetics. Give us like a top 3 or something. Just
A top 3 landrace to have.
yeah.
I would love to see, of course, the Vietnamese black. That's one that I have been dreaming of for a long time. Vietnamese black for sure. 2, a true Afghani. A true Afghani for sure.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. That's got my stamp of approval.
And just because I want to see it, dude, the Hawaiian duckfoot, the Hawaiian landrace, that one just fucking, it interests me. I want to see it, you know? I think it's a cool one that's just like an oddball.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really cool land races, but that one's just like, hello.
Weird.
No, exactly.
So I like the oddballs, you know what I mean? I like the freak show cut as well, like just because it's so unique. And like, shout out Canna Research Co. for like having an extensive line that they've done of breeding with that specific variety. They even have a V2 that's like a cannabis structured leaf, but it has like extra whippets at the end. I don't even know how to describe it to you, but it's really cool.
Dang, that'd be crazy to grow.
Right?
Like, so it's like
It's like it's $700 ounce if you really think about it. Nobody else is gonna grow that shit, you know? Nobody else is growing it. So for exclusive list alone.
On top of those heirloom genetics, the landrace he was talking about, like, what continents around the world would you like to like smoke it?
Oh, dude,
Like, where would you like to go
Spain.
visit? Like, Spain.
Spanibus. He said Spanibus.
Dash.
2024 will see
Yeah.
you.
Literally.
He said it quick,
like,
y'all.
see-
You heard that? Spain.
Spain,
Get
dude.
this man the ticket to Spain.
Spain for sure. Spain is going nuts. I really would love to get Spain.
They're getting down out there. They're advancing for sure.
And like it's really cool because like we talked about this a little bit on V1 of my podcast of like the differences between like a Vietnamese landrace and a like a Spain landrace, like a Spaniard landrace. If you look at the demographics of the people that live there and like what their everyday lives consisted of, Vietnamese people have a much more strenuous life, more backbreaking. But like the fishermen in Spain, they were going out on the water every day. They were being active. They're really needing like something to keep them going. But where in Vietnam, they needed something to help them relax at the end of the night. I feel like that there's been certain blessings given to specific parts of the land to help the people in those places. So like people in Spain, they need more energetic strains. People in Vietnam needed more sedative, more therapeutic strains to help with their harder living standards, you know? And like if you look at like Afghanistan, same scenario. Some of the more sedative, most sedative cannabis strains to be around, you know, and like some
100%.
of just the heaviest shit out there. and they have one of the hardest lifestyles. And like if you look at Argentina, same. You know, like a lot of the Argentinian strains, they have a really unique expression. Argentinians are really unique, dog.
Interesting.
You know, they have a cool culture. It's really beautiful to see like how cannabis has brought life to certain parts of the world. You know, and like it's key in a lot of different cultures. You know, Chinese people have it in their medicine as well.
Right.
It's really cool. It's really,
Chinese
really
have it traced as far as 10,000 years ago in their scripts, using it for medicinal uses from their emperors down to their different dynasties and to the different generations. It's crazy.
Even like
all of it.
Catholic religion using it to burn in their, you know how they have that candle thing that they burn, that they go down. I don't know what it's called.
Pre 1930s. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was
Kind
talking
of like
to
spreading sage.
I was talking to some of
Yeah.
the squad earlier, and I was asking them, it would be crazy to live in a parallel universe where it was like, what it would be for you guys to experience a world where cannabis was legal in the 1930s, right? If it was legal from then on, right? Like, what a world we would live in.
That would be wild, dude.
Like if they had just kept the
It
legal.
just kept it legal. You know what I mean? Can you imagine in the 50s, hey, can I get a green crack? You know what I mean? Or some marijuana. You know, it's just, and then it like goes down and it comes back up. So I feel like we're living in a trend right now where it's coming back up and, you know, keeping it alive. So you talked about Spain being one of those continents. Any other continents that come a close second to it?
Or countries.
Oh man, Canada.
Yeah. Canada. BC.
Yeah. Yeah,
Alright.
Canada.
Canadians.
Side eye is real. The side eye is real. He said, shout out Next Level Technologies. Shout out Dragonfly Earth Medicine.
Yeah.
Shout out Big LTD. Shout out.
Oh yeah, dog. You know what it is.
Oh man, it don't stop out
Yeah.
there. Shout out Van Egyptian, you know.
Yep.
That's-
So those
that's
are
hash
the
right, man,
spots
but-
right now.
Yes, yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
You hear that? Canada and Spain? Get us out there.
Spain.
We need you.
If you got any peeps out there in Spain, cannabis, get us connected.
I got
Yeah.
some homies out in
Yeah.
Spain
You
actually.
hear that? You hear that? We're coming out there then.
When you talk, try to talk towards the mic.
My bad, brother.
It's alright. It's good.
Get in that mic. Get in that mic. Dog.
I know you want to look at Seb's beautiful face. but-
I feel it.
So what are you smoking on right now? What's in the rotation in
This is
Gabe's
apple
life right
tart. I got
Apple
some
tart.
apple tart and some
Nice.
cereal milk. The cereal milk's been smoking for me. I like this apple tart, but the cereal milk lately. I've
Where's
just been
your
enjoying it.
palate on the spectrum of taste when it comes to flower? You know, when you got your gasoline skunk all the way down to your sweet, down to your candy, down to your fruit, citrus, right? You know what I'm saying?
Earthy.
Like where the earthy, right? Then you start going to the unique ones, right? Like meat, right?
Vinegary.
Like ammonia, vinegary, yeah.
Metal.
Rubber.
Lilac, rubber, right? Like where do you stand in your preference of palate, flower?
Tastes like pennies.
Yeah, it tastes
So-
like cop. Yeah, it's fucking crazy,
so-
man.
I can't lie. I like tasting the most unique expressions. I want to have something that.
Like that
I hear
taxi
you.
driver.
Yeah, I
Something
want something
tasteful.
that we've never tried before. That's something that like just isn't on your palate normally. That you can't just go to a shop and pick up. You know what I mean? Like I want some like the Panama Red. That Panama
That was spicy.
Red. Yeah,
Extra spicy.
really delicious.
I don't know if
you
it was
what I
just
mean?
placebo.
Bro,
Definitely
that dirty
wasn't.
taxi
Yeah.
was
The
crazy.
Dirty
carried off
Taxi,
you, yeah.
super nuts too. You know what I mean?
Goat funk.
The
You had
goat,
goat
yeah,
funk.
the
yeah.
goat funk
Ooh.
was crazy too.
Ooh.
Like, no, for real, like just stuff like that. I like more of those like really unique undertones and looking for what cannabis can express. I like unique stuff. I like being unique. I like trying the stuff that's not atypical, not the atypical route That's why I have like the curiosity and the passion for like land races, because
Right.
that's where everything started. That's
And
where
sometimes they don't
sure.
look the best.
No, they
land
don't.
races look all crazy
They
and
look
weird,
whack.
and they're not the
Yeah.
best
but,
bag appeal.
but they look the best
right.
in my opinion,
Exactly.
because nothing
Because
else
they're
fucking
wild.
Because
looks
it looks
like
like
that.
it, right? Because everything's
Like,
been so freaking
Nothing.
hype. Yeah.
I don't like everything just looking like cookies.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything's so hybridized.
You know what I
and
mean?
so in the
Everything
gene pool,
having
it's
that
crazy.
cookie
Facts.
cut, like
Right.
that bulbous like style look.
It is beautiful.
It's great. Yeah, it looks
but
great.
it's something different.
Like
everyone-
even apple fritters is, in my opinion, has been a little bit overboard. Like
What?
it's
Come on.
been thrown into everything. It's an amazing strain. I love the strain. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic strain, but it's been overbred. It's
You
been
said, but relax out there.
yeah, but relax. Like be a little bit more selective in like the capabilities of that genetic, you know what I mean, and looking at like how you can even improve the genetic instead of trying to alter it right away. You know, we just barely got apple fritters. Let's make it better. Let's backbreed it. Let's you know, make an S1, you know? Let's make an S2, S3, S4, S5 apple fritter.
Yeah.
You know, and like hone it in a little bit more before we start just like expanding on it, like the fine tuning. You know, I think that things could be a little bit more fine tuned and less sporadic.
Yeah.
That's the main
conscious
thing.
gardening,
It's
conscious breeding,
just
conscious
being a
growing.
little bit more
right,
conscious, and it's
yeah.
not to say that
For
like
sure.
they're not being unconscious. I just think that there could be more
Yeah.
of it in there.
There's
I
a
just
lot
think
more
that-
outside the hype.
And there's
Yeah.
trends. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of trendy shit going on, and people are like, "Oh, hop on that. That's what's selling. That's what looks good. That's what
Yeah.
everybody wants right now." And so it just boom, everything's going to that, and then it switches lanes, and then
And then everybody forgets that like there is some of the most amazing northern lights just right around the block that gets no love. You know
Right.
what I mean? that would stomp the apple fritters out in a shine out, because it's had the time to accumulate some really, really amazing, especially if you have somebody that's pays attention to the way that they grow. Northern Lights has
Giving
made a
love to
name
it.
for itself for a reason.
mhm.
Only the real heads that like are paying attention to grow lists are noticing that apple fritters is like a consistent thing that's being bred. You know what I mean? Like other than that, nobody else really cares, because like it's just a back breeding. You know what I mean? They see jelly tart, they don't see apple fritter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They see jelly tart, and they don't care about what's behind jelly tart. They just like that it's jelly tart, and that's just how consumers are. But breeders, you know, we have to be mindful of that and think about like how much are we paying attention to a specific dynamic even of like flavonoids that we're trying to hunt. You know, like the candy wave.
Mhm.
All been candy. No gas. No chem. No funk.
It has it.
Where's the funk? You know what I mean?
Where's
Give the man the funk.
Just
Give the man the funk.
diversity. Have some. Yeah, where's the cheese? Where's the cheese?
Shout out Shane Adams, man.
But no, that's like the thing. Is having a little bit more diversity inside of the game that we get to run.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's why we get to be such an influencing factor on this. Is we care. You know.
Yes. And I do think it's what you guys said too. It's not that everybody's kind of like closed-minded, but I do think that people see the hype and just jump on it when there's just so much in the background that you are missing, right?
Yeah.
There's so many genetics, so many landrace strains. In a sense, you could have easy access to maybe seeds and everything, right? But it's like everybody is on the wave of candy,
So,
you know, and things like that. So it's like, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you should always try to do quality and what you want yourself, but that should always be something new in a sense, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You should always have and trying to be doing something new.
right. And from that,
So-
what's your opinion on? Now, I say opinion because everyone kind of has a different outlook on it. What's your opinion on how the average consumer, when going into a dispensary, can help better their experience when purchasing something that's $60 versus something that's, you know, maybe 45? Maybe they're like, yo, this thing's like 29 THC, because they're looking at potency, right? that's the biggest thing right now that a lot of customers are looking for is like that high THC. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go in there and try to bang out the high THC too. You know what I mean? But I'm also gonna try to look for all the active cannabinoids in there, see their terp profile. But that's me though, because I know. Mm-hmm. What are things for you that you feel like the average consumer, you know, to start understanding when they go into these places to help their experience?
I would say think about what material and scenario you're buying. Like, so the cheaper flower clearly can't have as much attention given to it in all aspects. The nutrients that it's given, the light that it's given, the cleanliness of the room, even how much love the facility can put into their flower, right? So that's why you look at like Jungle Boys, you look at Cookies, you look at like a lot of these notorious people, and like those are just big names that most people will know. Those guys have a premium for their cannabis because they've had the opportunity to put the money into dialing in their facility and keeping their own quality control up to a point where they can promise you that this is a sterile environment for this plant to grow. And that's the biggest thing, is like you're creating an environment with killing an environment almost, because like you want a small ecosystem for a living soil setup, right? Like a living soil scenario, you want a small ecosystem living in that bed. But outside of that bed, you need to have that shit spotless. Not any foreign influences coming into that ecosystem. You're creating a bubble around it too, you know? So the money and the time that's spent into that also gets translated into the end product. And unfortunately, it is a little bit more expensive, but it's always worth paying the price for people that have actually done their due diligence and honed in on quality. And doing your own research, not even on strains, because that can get hairy. Right. You can go on a big ass fucking
go down the
because it's so sad going into these places and you see these guys struggling to just figure out what they want when they're in the line.
Yeah. So and I'd say it's not, you have to pay attention to the strain. But the biggest thing is just where it's coming from, you know? Like there's always going to be better companies than other companies, and that's any industry ever, right? Like there's always going to be people holding it down, putting quality first at their cost, right? Yeah. To put the best product out there. And I mean, it's our job and like your job as a consumer to seek out that knowledge in those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the key concept of it all, is like, being mindful of who you're interacting with. Act like it's no other thing. Are you going to McDonald's or are you going to Hibachi? Where are you going? You know what I mean? What do you want to put into your system? And like, of course, there's always that time for McDonald's. Everybody loves McDonald's. Fuck, fool. Sometimes it sucks when I don't have money all the time. McDonald's helps me survive. And I'm very thankful for it. Cannabis, there are spots that are like that as well. Yep. You know, and there's no shame in that. No shame at all. But being mindful of who's paying attention to what they're doing is your job. You know, go to Hibachi. Treat yourself.
There you go. Gotta go to Hibachi.
If you want to taste that shit, go to Hibachi. Yeah.
And I will say the other side of that too is, usually if you're able to find that more potent, for a lot of reasons, flower or vape or whatever method, you end up consuming less than what you would need if you did pay less, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to break that down a little bit for the audience?
You break it down.
So when you look at the potential of how many cannabinoids can influence your body, and if there's only one specific cannabinoid influencing your body, only one part of the receptor is continuously getting hit, right? So you got to look at cannabinoid diversity and biocomplexity of the products that you're consuming, because your CB receptors, they have different portions that need to be corresponded to get different reactions. If you're stimulating one consistently, you're not going to end up being able to feel and enjoy the effects like you would hope, because you do end up growing a tolerance. And there's a huge thing that, like, concentrates get you high as fuck, and then, like, you're good for a while, and they're big in, like, the, like, more broke side of life, like on the lower end, you know, like a lot more of the lower end consume concentrates like shatter, and like it's just how it is, you know what I mean? It's easier to transport, gets them higher. The thing is like they end up smoking one bowl and they're like, holy shit, I'm high as fuck, and they wonder why. Compared to their concentrates, the THC, there's a big difference, 75 being on the low side of a concentrate and like 17 being on like a good range. I call 17% a good range of cannabis, like THC in a strain. If you really look at it, it's a pretty good average. 17% is pretty nice. There's a huge difference, but the biocomplexity of the flower compared to the shatter is just immense. So that's the big difference.
Nice. Thank you.
For
That was
sure.
a nice explanation. And on top of that, with the consumer trying to find what they want, what is Gabe on the hunt for right now?
What am I on the hunt for?
Good question.
Trichome tortoise!
Oh, snap.
The
Let's
trichome
go.
tortoise.
Come on now.
Trichome tortoise.
Oh, boy.
I want-
picking up
I want, yeah, dude. For real, bro. I'm on that
Come on.
hunt for some anything from him.
Anything, yeah.
I really
Anything.
respect.
What are you looking for? What are you hunting down? Strains, technology?
Dude, I had some amazing papaya.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
I had an amazing papaya cut from Heritage Hash Co's Huckleberry Farms
Shout out
that
to
ended
papaya
up
as
doing
well.
the work on that one. That papaya was probably one of my most tasty, like, delicious dessert. I'm not even really a dessert guy, but it had like a dessert-esque style smell, like a really fresh, like, you know, fresh ass desserts.
Like fresh.
You know, like you
fuck,
could eat
just
like a
barely
fuck
got
ton
made.
of them. Just has like berries
I
on
do
it and
know.
just like creamy and
Yup.
just like just a little hint of cracker, and you could be like, I can monster.
My
this.
mouth's watering right now.
That's the style of like flavor that papaya had, and I was really impressed with.
Is that what you're hunting?
I would say that I'm hunting for something that man's got. Black Lime Reserve. I have
Big
had
facts.
a huge, I don't even know what to call it. Infatuation of Black
that's
Lime
just
Reserve.
infatuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a crush.
I had a
Yeah.
crush on it. Yeah. The first time it came through and I had some of it, it stained my lips, dude. Like my lips
I think I
tasted
remember
like
talking about
lime.
it.
Like
Yeah.
couldn't get it
Dang.
off my shit. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
You were licking your lips and shit like, damn.
Yeah,
what
like
the
I
hell?
couldn't believe it. So something along those lines would be really nice to see. I
That's
had a
Bodie,
really,
right?
No, that's
Is that
Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie. That's Eddie's cut. Eddie's
Okay.
Reserve.
Eddie's Reserve. Wow.
But there was also a Pine Sol Cold Fire cart that I had recently, and Cold Fire, I give props to, dude. Their shit is amazing. It's like literally tasting a
Just-
straight hit
yeah.
of like I was just took a bong rip.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Hell
So
yeah.
shout out to them. I consider you guys like a bong rip. You guys are tasty as ever.
Cold Fire.
Yeah, Cold Fire.
Shout out Cold Fire.
Their Pine Sol was really, really amazing. So like anything along those style of like chemical funky terps.
Nice.
You know? I've been really liking the citrus chemical blend right
Hey,
now.
citrus chem blend. Nice.
Yeah, citrus chemical
Wow.
blend is really what I've been looking for.
Dang. Tangy. Man. Anyways, that's awesome to hear, man. Because, you know, as customers or as patients or as connoisseurs, as enthusiasts, we're always trying to find something that's not even the next thing, but that always fits our lifestyle. You know what I mean? Whether we're hunting seeds or whether we're storing or whether we're like wanting to breed, like it's amazing to hear those strains. You know what I mean? Because not a lot of people might not know what a black lime tastes like. For them, it's like black lime. You know, it's like a blue watermelon. You know what I mean? They're like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Black lime, it's like moly. But for them, for you to describe it in those terms, like it gives a visual aspect to them to understand the taste behind it.
And I think it helps the consumer to like understand that there is really vast differences with
Yeah.
weed, right? Like
Right. It's not all the
fragrances,
same.
like smells, tastes,
Oh yeah.
and that does add to your effect,
Effects.
right? Like that is
Entourage
the
effect.
entourage effect, is
Right.
like the smell, the
yeah.
taste, and your other senses for the plant.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when you look at the complexity of cannabis, dude. It could be an old grandma smoking on a porch or a young homie just running
Right.
running the streets, having fun. But it's like it's almost the same in like terpenes. You
It
got
is.
this weird funky ass armpit over here, and then you have like your citrus candy over here. It's just there. It just the spectrum. It's
It's
meant for
crazy.
everyone. There's something in there for you if you're willing to listen to it. And like therapeutics and like meditation with the implementation of cannabis, even if you don't have a physical element that needs cannabis, I recommend it. Tapping into yourself. It can be scary. It can be like heart pumping, shit, anxiety kicking, but you're working energy through you. You're allowing yourself to feel those high volumes of stress, and that's part of life, and like now you can do it in a controlled environment and make yourself withstand some of those like more stringent times in life. I can say that it's made me a more calm, cool, and collected person when I have a really constricting time of life. Maybe that's why they say that like stoners are just, hey dude, that's like the common consensus, is because we figured out how to deal with stupid ass stress that you guys like allowed to influence you so deeply where it can change your life, and influence you on an everyday basis. It's okay to have bad days, but some people have allowed it to go a little too far, in my opinion.
For sure.
Not a lot of people want to look in.
No,
Amen.
they
I think
don't.
that's what,
Yep.
at the end of the day, that's what really matters, right? You have to have some self-reflection to have growth.
Yeah.
And people would argue that's where the most growth is.
Right on.
So
I know that's where the most growth is for me personally.
There you
That's been astronomical for me to sit down and call me out on my own bullshit.
Get to know who you really are.
Yeah,
Right.
dude. Own who you are. Each one of us have been given the gift of not only like giving life, but sharing life, expressing life. We've been given so many different things, and like there are sad things with that,
Mhm.
It's part of it. But that's what makes it beautiful. Everything encompassing allows us to experience and hold each other in those times of sorrow and like feel the other spectrum of love, because we know how much it hurts to hurt.
Yeah.
Being there for your friends, dude. That's like the main consensus of what I'm trying to say is like love your people. You're the only one looking out for them. I say it all the time. People say nobody's looking out for you. Nobody's got your back in this world. Nah, fuck that. I got my people's back.
Yeah.
My friends call me, I'll be right there. You know what I mean? Just let me know when I can show up.
yeah, and I'll attest to that because that man helped me move. I don't even know how many boxes.
Hey,
That's
gang,
my freaking dog.
gang, dog.
Boy, what?
Go.
Boy, what?
But-
Single-handedly moved me and my family out.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
No, straight up.
Hell yeah. But yeah, like that to me is how you show up as the best you.
Yeah.
You got your
100%.
people's back. Fuck that shit. Don't listen to society.
Mm.
People have your back. You're not alone. I'm on a fucking couch with 4 people right now. I'm not alone.
Gang.
You know what I mean?
Squad.
It's a common thing that people feel alone but forget that they have a full community around them,
Right.
waiting for them to let down their guard and be held. That's the biggest key, is to allow people in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Big facts.
Fact.
Big facts.
I can't agree more, man.
Thank you, Gabe, man. We appreciate all the insight.
Yeah,
and
man.
all the freaking background knowledge and letting us into your world. You know what I mean? Into Gabe's mind a little bit, tapping us into different strains, man, and catching the people up on what's good and what's not good. You know what I mean? Like, is there any last thing you want to say for the people out there, man?
The cannabis community revolves around love. Don't forget that. That is my message to everyone, I would say. Is no matter what the situation is, no matter if you're just coming into cannabis or if you're witnessing somebody use cannabis and you have stringent feelings because you're unfamiliar with it still, try to come from love. Look into the facts. Be willing to hold people for being them, you know?
That's crazy because I watched a movie yesterday, and I know this is a little tangent, but I watched a movie where the parents literally kicked out the older brother, but the little brother had the weed.
Damn.
Right? And then, but the older brother was like, "It's all right. Just know that's shitty weed, by the way." And then just bounced. You know, it was Breaking Bad. It was Breaking Bad. It was a show.
Yeah.
I started, but it's crazy. You know what I mean? Because how many people have been like kicked out?
It's like that sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Kicked out of their homes. You know what I mean? For getting caught with it.
Yeah.
Like get out of the house. How many old like back then? You know.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you come from a place of like, yo, they probably have been bullied at home. I mean, school and you didn't even know it. They just need something to release.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
But you kick them out anyways.
And,
It's just crazy coming from that place,
yeah,
man.
come from love. Each person's going through their own task, and they may have an ailment that's not physically appearable. You may not be able to see it, but underneath they could be dealing with something, and cannabis is what's helping get them through that. Be mindful of that, you know?
Yep.
Love your people.
It's a great message, man.
Love your people. Always.
Always. No
Always
matter
and
what.
forever. Let's freak.
Gang.
Love first. Big shout out. Gabriel Flores.
Hey.
Thank you,
UCC
gang.
member.
UCC.
Appreciate you, boys.
Love
Hey.
first,
Y'all heard it
baby.
here first, man. Make sure to tune in on the show. Stay tuned in on our Instagram, YouTube.
Utah Cannabis Club.
Utah
You know what it
Cannabis Club.
is.
You know where to find us, man. Come on.
UCC, what it is.
We could start posting